Hello, you Weeb Trash. We're Weeb Trash as well. I'm Cody.
I'm Dean.
And this is the Weeb Trash Podcast, Episode 2. If you've made it past these 6 hours of content we have now, out of 2 episodes, congratulations. You're probably one of the few. We would give you a medal, but we're not going to pay to send you a medal, so deal with it. Feedback we got last time, 4 hours might be a little bit too long in one sitting. We'll see how that goes. If it stays long, it stays long. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But yeah, so we're sticking to our format. We're going to talk about what we've watched this week. We'll talk about the IMDB top 100 anime 11 to 20, or 10 to 20, I guess. Our favorite mecha, and then we'll talk about the state of mecha as a genre, subgenre, whatever you want to call it, and go from there. So, Dean, what have you been watching?
Well, I finished some things.
Oh, okay.
So I finished Demon King Academy. I actually finished that, I think, the next day that we recorded the last podcast.
So that's good timing.
I was like, man, I have to remember this for a week. Because we record a week between.
Yeah, that's why you take notes. I mean, I don't remember half the shit I watched because I watched it on Sunday. So
I remember that I liked it.
It was good. Full review.
I did already kind of talk about it. Like I talked about, Silver Lake, the production company.
Yeah.
Behind it, Isekai company. Yeah, I finished it. I liked it. I'd probably watch more. It's good. What else did I finish?
I don't know.
Because I think I finished the I can't remember if I finished World's Finest Assassin. If I finished that the day that we recorded, because I know I finished that, and they're supposed to make a second season eventually. That's done. That's good. Everything else is, I'm back down to weeklies now. So, watching it as it comes out. I'm gonna start Spy Family this weekend. I've been reading it. I haven't been watching it.
Good.
So,
are you gonna watch the sub or the dub?
Whatever they've got. I think the dub started a couple weeks ago. I think they got like 3 episodes of it. I think.
Yeah, it's 2 or 3. I think the 3rd comes out tomorrow, or while we're recording this. So I've only watched the 2, but I mean, I've enjoyed both. I've watched both, and they're both solid. Just depends, if you want to read or listen, I guess.
Right. Well, I'll probably watch the dub. I've been reading the manga, and so now I'll probably just watch the dub and add it to the list of my other weeklies that I've been watching. Because I've been watching that. Yeah, a second. My page closed.
Good job. One of the most prepared we've ever been.
It's okay. It's better that we're less prepared than last week.
Yeah, if we're too prepared, it goes way too long. If we're underprepared.
Watched 5 shows and, it's okay. Anyway, Skeleton Knight in Another World.
Oh, is that good?
Isekai. So, you know how you've watched Sword Art Online, right?
Yeah.
Sword Art.
Yeah.
Have you watched all of what they have?
No. I think
okay.
Like way back in the day when it was hype, I watched I stopped before Gun Gale, so I've not watched it in a long fucking time.
So at Gun Gale is season 2, because they have season 1. It's Aincrad, and then the fairy world. Yeah. Season 2 is GGO, and then they go back to the fairy world. And then season 3 is Alicization, and that's a whole nother thing. Anyway, they have a running a theme where a sexual assaulting scene.
Yeah. I remember from the at least
it's in every season.
Yeah. I remember the scenes.
There's twice in the first season.
Yeah, they go hard
with Asuna, and then Asuna in the first season, almost twice, and then in the second season it was Sinon, with the creepy, her creepy friend guy, So I've seen clips of Skeleton Knight in Another World. I'm like, oh, okay, like it looks good, and I started the first episode, and that's what it started with.
Great.
And I said, what am I watching?
Yeah, this is not what I expected. I kind of was like, oh, this is just discount Overlord because it's just a skeleton.
That's what I was expecting. I was like, okay, this will time me over because I think, oh my god, new season Overlord later this year. You know, I'm hyped.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, okay, maybe this can tide me over until then, because I was like, okay, he's a skeleton, he's powerful, it's a game. Maybe it'll just be like Overlord. No, it started with a sexual assault scene on some bandits. It goes on for.
So what you're saying is it's Goblin
36.
Slayer, but not Goblin Slayer.
See, when I started it, I was like, oh my god, please don't tell me this is Goblin Slayer. But then the dude shows up and like cuts them all in half.
Oh, so it's Goblin Slayer.
So unlike Goblin Slayer, nothing happens.
At least he gets there before the thing, but
the
still.
thing isn't happening yet. And I was like, why is this here? Like, why did it go on so long?
Yeah, why did we need this start for this show?
Anyway, and then it shouldn't even start off that way, because then it's like that scene happens, he cuts down these people, and then it goes back, and then I think the intro hits, and then it goes back to the beginning of him showing up in that world. And I'm like, why did we start with this scene?
Yeah, that's a weird establishing scene. That's strange.
It's very strange, but after that, it was good.
All right, so just skip the first scene, guys, and just get into it, I guess.
Don't think about the first 30 seconds. Just let the intro play and then catch up with it afterwards. I like it. It's good. It's a good isekai. Solid. I'd probably give it 7 out of 10. I'm watching it every week. I'm excited for the next episode.
How many episodes did you get in?
There's only 2 right now.
Okay.
Well, at least 2 dubbed. I think there's 4 subs, so it's on a 2-week delay.
Okay,
or a week delay, or whatever.
That's about right for most.
I just watched the second episode. No, 3 episodes. I think I watched the 3rd one yesterday. So that's good. I like that one. So Skeleton Knight in Another World.
Is it kind of the same thing? Is it a game world, or is it just a fantasy world?
Yeah, it's a game world.
Okay.
He's like, he's like playing World of Warcraft, and
then he gets
he's like, I'm this character. He's like a holy knight and stuff like that.
Oh, okay. So,
yeah. So I was looking up other stuff. I was trying to figure out the voice actor, and then I forgot about it.
Somebody.
It's Brandon Johnson.
That name sounds vaguely familiar, but I have no idea why.
I don't know. There's too much dead air. You're gonna have to cut me.
Or we'll leave it in and make people feel uncomfortable. That's very reasonable. Editing decisions. Or I guess editing indecision, because, Well, we'll see.
You're choosing not to edit it.
Basically, yeah. For anyone who has watched the full episodes, other than moving the little raccoon icon around for kind of where we are in the episode, that's effectively all I do. Other than cut when we go to the bathroom or something. Just peel the curtain back there a little. Yeah, I mean, pretty much everything that you see now, other than, like I said, the little raccoon guy that I move around, our little logo guy, is all OBS, because I'm lazy and I edit enough other stuff to begin with. I'm just like, you know what? Very lackadaisical on this, whatever. You know what word I'm trying to say. And then I clip the clips, and those are usually pretty okay, but they come from the full episode, so it doesn't we'll see. I mean, if we ever get to throw in stuff on TikTok, I might have to do more edit, but I don't think I'm gonna do that, because that's a lot of effort, and I'm lazy and I got other stuff to edit. So
the other thing I remember, I started with was that Tsukubichi Moonlit Fantasy. I remember I told you about it because Dallas Reed does the voice actor for it. He's Asta.
Yeah. You sent me some clips, and I was like, "That's Asta." Yeah.
Yeah. So it just started. I think like a couple weeks ago. It just started airing. So it's like brand new. I didn't even heard of it. I didn't know there was even a manga for it. But it's another isekai, but it's more Konosuba. It's more comedy than anything.
Oh,
so
interesting.
it's more of a comedy instead of a but unlike Konosuba, he's powerful. He's strong.
Yeah, it's not reliant on Kazuma being fucking jobbed out of everything and the show being super self-aware.
Yeah. So it's Konosuba if he was strong. Because I think I sent you the clip where he's being reincarnated, and then the goddess is like, you're ugly as shit. I don't want you. Leave away. And so it's like, I think it's another deity is like, hey man, sorry about that. I can't really do much for you, but I can give you some power. So he's like, well, enjoy your life living how you want in this other world, since you don't have to do anything, because he's not going to be a hero.
Yeah.
But he's like, here's some power, but he gets pretty powerful. So it's pretty funny. There's only 2 episodes out now. I just watched it like right before this. It's like, oh, I have time for another episode. I was like, oh man, Tsukubichi's out, so I'll watch it.
Hell yeah.
Still can't get over the fact that it's Asta's voice actor.
Oh yeah, like the clip you sent me, I was like, I didn't hear it at first, but when he did the like weird hyper excited
like when
scream,
he started to yell.
Yeah, I was like, oh shit, yeah, that's just Asta. There's no different. That is Asta. It's the same thing. I feel like, of course, like other voice actors have this, but like Johnny Young Bosch is Lelouch was like such an important character to me that anytime he's in anything else, I'm like, oh, holy shit, it's Lelouch. And Yami's voice actor is the same way because he does the one voice and everything. I'm like, oh, I hear Yami now.
Chris Sabat.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Vegeta, Piccolo.
Yeah. It is weird because like he doesn't. It's strange that as Vegeta, he doesn't stick that way in my mind because. Right. He doesn't sound like Vegeta in anything else that I can think of. But I don't know if it's just people are like, hey, will you just do the Yami voice? Or he's just like, whatever. But he's Yami. He's in Legend of the Galactic Heroes as someone that's effectively Yami, but like slightly less crass. He's one of the Imperial like admirals, so he has to be slightly like more tidied up. And he's in something else I watched recently. Oh, I think it might be Kyokai Senki that I was like, that's Yami. It is just Yami. And I'm like,
yeah, he's in almost everything Funimation touches. He's a Funimation voice director. So
yeah,
usually it's like, oh, I'll just do this or something like that.
Yeah, and he's been around so long. It's like, yeah, we can trust him. He does a good job. So,
that one's good. It's the guy that's directing it he did Fairy Tail and Long Horizon.
Oh, interesting.
So he's pretty good. So I'll probably keep watching that one. I probably won't drop it. It's more of a comedy, so it won't have like my full attention.
Yeah.
The other thing I've been watching that I didn't tell you is I started Love After World Domination.
Yes, you did. Oh, thank God.
And
I can talk about this now.
I think I'm in love with it, man.
It's so fucking good, isn't it?
It's so dumb and it's so good.
Yeah,
but it's so dumb because it's like Super Sentai, Power Rangers.
Yeah.
It's like I like Power Rangers, and obviously I have like some shit up there.
Yeah.
So it's like I can appreciate, like Super Sentai and Power Rangers and Kamen Rider for like how ridiculous and dumb it is. Like the Gelato Squad.
Yeah, that's like I love.
Like I get it. It's
they
fine.
Don't immediately lean into it either. Like they bring it up, and you're like, "There's no fucking way that's like actually ice cream," and then they go into it, and you're like,
freezing
what
mode or something like that. That's like red gelato, and it's got a strawberry sword.
Yeah, I just love all their weapons have the stupid
gelato,
fruits.
the flavor of soda or something like that. So he's got like soda guns.
I was very confused at why they didn't go with blueberry, but maybe blueberry is not like a prominent flavor in Japan.
Blueberries are fucking purple.
I mean, they're just a deep blue. Like, I guess soda seems much stranger to me than blueberry.
They in Japan they have it's like ramen,
The
soda flavored,
soda thingies,
like candy and stuff like that. So like soda's a flavor over there. It's like sweet seltzer or something like that.
Yeah, it's so
like
strange.
A lot of their candies. It's good though. Yeah, I forgot what the yellow one was.
I think
lemon.
Yeah, the pink one's peach, and the green one is pistachio or something.
Pistachio, and he's got like pistachio gauntlets, and he punches a lot of shit.
Yeah,
and
I love that they like
is like a lemon warhammer,
something like that. I like it. Like I've seen, it's problematic so like tough with some of this stuff because I don't know if it's just the stuff I like or what, but most of the shows that I've watched, I get spoilers for the sub, like the pictures and stuff. And I'm like, well, I know I'm going to get there. And I'm not super too worried about like Love After World Domination spoiling me. But like, I know what's supposed to happen next. I'm like, okay, I actually kind of want to get to this episode, but it's not dubbed yet. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to be lazy and not read the sub. But yeah, no, that is like, it is in competition with Kaguya-sama for being my funny show of the season. And I don't know which one I like more.
It's so good. I think it's got 3 episodes.
2 or 3. I think I've watched 2, so I don't know if the third one came out like today or something. Or
one of them just came out because I watched it earlier today.
Okay, so yeah. Yeah, I don't think I've watched
maybe
that
came
one.
Maybe they came out yesterday.
Because the last one I watched, they went on the date, and he made her work out and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I watched the one right after that. I watched that today. So it came out sometime this week.
Yeah, so probably like yesterday or today, and I just didn't get time.
Oh yeah, it's good, man. I was watching it, and I was like, I really like this show.
It's good. Like it.
I went in with intentions of being like, oh, it'll be, that's a funny premise, and I was like, oh man,
this is like actually good.
This is hitting my notes, dude.
Yeah, it like because it's this thing that. It's such a weird disparity. I'll talk about it more when I like talk about what I'm watching, but the narration and some of like how the characters interact is very Kaguya-sama. It's very similar, but the whole like premise around it and it not like it's not meta to the fact that it understands what it's doing. Like it's not like Konosuba where it's like very aware of itself. Right. It like they play the whole gelato thing so straight, and like Fudo is so like, yeah, I gotta be strong, I gotta be the leader of this team.
I'm the strongest leader, like I got this.
Yeah,
and then he just screams red gelato.
Yeah, and it's just like it's so goofy, and like his interactions with the doctor, who is like, oh, you gotta chase the woman
from like Mega Man. And when I first saw him,
yeah,
I was like, what?
The combination of all these things is hilarious, and it's. Oh, man. I think that it's like I said, it's right up there. And I don't know which one at the end of the season is going to be my top kind of funny show, but like it's so good.
It's definitely like if you watch it, you're either gonna like it or you're not gonna like it. It's
you just be like, this is stupid, or this is stupid, and I'm into it.
And it's definitely like, oh, this is so dumb. I love it.
This is another one that I mentioned it last week, and there's not as many examples I can pull from, but I think the dub, they do kind of the thing that like Kaguya-sama in My Dress Up Darling did, where they didn't do direct translation. They just kind of like. We need
like what am I supposed to say? It's like okay, and then they kind of make it up.
Yeah, they get close, and it's just more about the vibe. And I think you can see like Desumi do that probably the most.
Right. Oh man, honestly, Desumi, best girl. Like that's it's already there. Best girl, Desumi.
Yeah, she's funny. Like it's
I'm
so good.
Into it.
It's so good.
I think you explained it before, but like if I don't remember last week if you explained what the premise about the show was. I think you did, because you were telling it to me, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool. I'll watch it. Yeah. But it's like think of Super Sentai or Power Rangers, and I can explain it in depth, like what only some people understand, or everyone will understand. It's like everyone will understand. It's a league of villains, and it's a hero squad, and the two leaders fall in love with each other, and they're trying to like have a secret relationship. Or if I can describe it in Power Rangers speak, like in Power Rangers Turbo, it's if Divatox, which was the leader of she's like in the submarine with all her weird like Edgar and everything, is if Divatox and Tommy from Power Rangers started dating.
Yeah,
they started boning secretly.
It feels weird too that it like almost
shout out to those that know what I was just
talking about. If you understood that, put that in the comments down below. We're curious to see who's like, I remember that shit.
Listen, I know more about Power Rangers than I should.
I mean, yeah,
that lore is crazy.
Yeah, you are the Power Ranger knowledge of the like dumb Gundam knowledge I have. Like, there's so much dumb, useless information I have now that I'm like, one day I'll get to use this, and that day never comes.
Power Rangers Zeo is best one. Fight me.
Yeah.
Anyway, that show's good. Destiny Best Girl.
Yeah.
Dope stuff. I think that's all I've been watching.
It's like it is real good. Like it feels like. Yeah, I mean, like this is.
It was a cute show.
Yeah, this and Kaguya-sama are taking the My Dress Up Darling spot I had last season, and they're way more mostly wholesome than like. I mean, that show was very wholesome, but it had its. We got to show the titties so people get excited.
Right.
These shows don't really have that as much, and that's actually really refreshing.
It's definitely not as fan servicey. I mean, she's in kind of like a skimpy villainous outfit, but it's not like, I don't know. It doesn't focus on it.
Yeah, they don't like. There are a few shots where it's like, oh, anime has weird angles. What are you talking about? Memes. But
she's
generally,
wearing a garter belt. Of course, her ass is gonna be in the shot. But
yeah, like generally speaking, they're not too bad. There's that one meme where it's like they're like where he goes and meets her at night, and he's like, "Will you go out with me?" And they start fighting, and it's like the two behind the shots where it's like his ass too, and it's like male weebs, female weebs. What was I? I don't fucking remember what it was. Oh yeah. It feels like I have no reason. Like I can't back this up really, but it almost feels like a like kind of My Hero-esque world where like they're not the only superpowered team.
Right.
And I don't know why, because there's nothing to explain that. Like it just I get that vibe. I think it's because they still go to high school and stuff, and it's like, oh, you're just regular people, but people know who you are, so this must be a regular thing.
Yeah, they're like, oh, everyone knows their name, but it's like, oh, he's the leader of the Gelato Force or whatever they are.
Yeah, like it.
They do interviews.
I mean, maybe it's just that they're like not taking it too seriously or something, but it does feel kind of weird.
Yeah, it's not as like secret identity like the Power Rangers and stuff where
yeah, and pretty much everything
celebrities.
else.
They're like, oh, ooh, no, what's gonna happen? We're gonna run around this corner and transform.
Yeah, they're just like, whatever. People know our names. We have our masks off all the time because our masks kind of look dumb as hell, but that's fine.
You remember when they had the I can't remember which season it was, but they had the silver mouth plate with the lips.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looked up as shit.
Yeah, like I will, depending on the figure, those look okay. Yeah.
Because like I'm thinking of one else because they have the lips, and it looks cool on a figure, but like when you're
yeah, like in practice, that seems very strange.
Back in the 90s and the 80s when they made the original like Super Sentai, they didn't look as good.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of weird designs to come out of Super Sentai that we've never seen in the West. But I feel like these helmets are probably the worst. The rest of the outfit is fine.
The gelato,
the gelato helmets are the dumbest fucking things I've ever seen, and I hate all of them. Luckily, they don't wear them a lot, so I'm like, cool, great, that's fine. But yeah,
Decibel, her voice actress is Eris in Mushoku Tensei.
Oh shit, I didn't even put that together. Glad she's getting work. Mushoku Tensei's great.
Right? I didn't look up anyone else, but when I was looking up her earlier, I was like, oh, I'm a voice actress.
I mean, I'm sure there's probably a lot of names we'll be familiar with.
I'm sure.
Like Fudo at certain points sounded familiar, so it's like, do I know who you are? But I couldn't place it. So I've been watching Love After World Domination as well. If you hadn't put that together, I am an episode behind, so Dean's on me there. As I mentioned, Kaguya-sama as well. That's 2 episodes in. It's Kaguya-sama. It's good. The narrator's still like the funniest part of that show. Very good. Doesn't have kind of the same gimmick that Love After World Domination does, but it's still like it's a really strong comedy. So it's very good if you're wanting a funny show. Outside of that, everything else was pretty straightforward. No other comedies for the most part. Watched episode 3 of Spy X Family. Had seen people talk about like the OP and the ED, and I hadn't really watched either of them, so I watched those. Both very good. The aesthetics, the vibes, the sounds, super solid. Oh
man, that was the other thing on Skeleton Knight. Man, the opening song, pretty damn good. I was like, damn, I'm gonna have to add this on my Spotify list.
I mean, everyone's out here talking about your boy Kaming and his banger of an opening. There's some good ones this season, like bro.
Love After World Domination. It's got a jazz riff in there that was very bebop.
Yeah, it is really good.
I like, this is good.
It's different, and like it kind of like. I feel like the one for Kaguya-sama is not really as much to write home about. Not because it's not good, but it, like, the same group has done the other 2, like, for the other seasons. Right. So it's just more of that, which is really good. But it's like, oh, I don't really remember if this is the one for this season or last season. But I remember the first season one, because it was a banger, and it caught me by surprise. But, yeah. The vibe of my Spy X Family is great. I just like love little words that Anya just cannot say. Like she keeps saying ooting instead of outing, and like multiple people correct her, but she just keeps saying it. And I'm like,
is she Canadian?
I don't know, but I'm like, I respect the hustle, Anya. You're out here just like, I'm gonna say words my way. I don't care. I'm like 6 years old, maybe. We don't know.
Something like that.
Between 4 and 6. I get the vibe she's not 6, but, I don't think there's anything specifically to state she's not. It felt like she just lied to get adopted. Because she can read minds. So let's see here. I will say, we're not going to talk about it, but I did watch episode 11 of Demon Slayer, which concludes the Entertainment District arc. When Dean catches up, we will talk about Demon Slayer. Is good. I have some thoughts on it, but I'm not gonna go into it.
Are you sure we're not gonna get told that we're trashing it?
I mean, oddly enough, no one brought that up to the last episode, so I'm kind of just like, either A, people didn't listen far enough in, which is weird because that's the title of the episode, or B, they did and they're like, yeah, you guys had some points. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we do.
We like Demon Slayer. It's just
it has its issues. It's still a banger, Like, I'm not gonna say it's not good, but I'm not gonna say it's the GOAT.
It's good for, I try to remember what we talked about in the 4 hours that we recorded. But Demon Slayer, it's good. It's a good intro to anime. I feel like we've said that before.
Yeah, I think that's probably why it's like so wildly popular. Is it's and everyone can watch it.
Get into. It hits the marks that what makes a good show.
Yeah.
So it's a good show for people who don't watch anime. They either want to or they just want to try something different.
Yeah.
And we like it. Rengoku and
Tanjiro
blanket boy.
Yeah. You're getting there. You're figuring it. He's back there. You can see Tanjiro's green and black little thingy there.
Finally hung them up because their frame busted in the move.
Oh, that's not good.
So I got them hanging up, and I got Aaron over here,
Just, being all electric-y boy.
moody and broody,
Yeah.
emo boy, which is basically what he is the whole last season.
So speaking of emo boy, not that one in particular. I'm emo boy because I decided to try Shikimori because everyone's like, Shikimori's the replacement to my Dress Up Darling. And I'm like, fuck you, you're dumb. No, it's not. But I hadn't watched it, so I was like, I need to watch it at least a few episodes so I can be like, Shikimori's not a good waifu, deal with it. I stand my ground. It's not as good. I mean, it's only 2 episodes in for the dub, so maybe it gets better. But it's not My Dress Up Darling, and it's not Tonikawa. Both of those did the romance type setup much better, in my opinion. Tonikawa in particular, which is, I think, like Over the Moon with You, it was a Crunchyroll original a couple seasons back, has this kind of weird underlying supernatural mystery thing that isn't the main point of the show, but it kind of comes up and you're like, something happening here? And it has that, but it just doesn't feel as good. Like, they bring it up too much without it, like, being a mystery. It's like the main character, his one defining feature is he's accident prone to the extent that the world is actively trying to kill him, basically. Like, there's one scene, I think it's from the first, maybe the second episode, where he's like walking and he's like, it already starts out they're dating, which is weird. Like, not a lot of shows will do that. And I'm like, that's strange. I don't know if I like this. But anyway, they're walking home and he's like, I feel like I'm not good enough for you. I'm a burden, which normally I'm like, yeah, like if you have good characterization, that's a good conversation to have in an anime. But it's like, it happens so early and it's over a fairly minuscule thing that had it happened like mid-season where you have multiple incidents where he is being an inconvenience or being a burden or being told that he is, then okay, yeah, sure. But it happens so early on and she's like, no. And this sign falls off this building and is going to like crush him basically. And she whips out this like jumping roundhouse kicks this thing. It's just like, whoa, what? And it like, he has no characterization, which is fucking, I mean, from my perspective as a dude, like you kind of want to have some kind of empathy, sympathy type thing going on, some connection. Like, I don't want him to be self-insert, but I do want him to be like, oh, I can kind of understand this person. I'm like, Gojo is really good for that in My Dress Up Darling, because we've all had something that someone's like, oh, you like that? That's cringe, bro. And been like, God, I'm cringe. But I mean, to like an extreme, of course, for Gojo.
Almost everything on my walls and my desk.
Basically, yeah.
You like that? That's cringe, bro.
It's like, oh, God damn it, you're right.
Power Rangers suck. Leave me alone. It looks cool.
I like helmets, okay?
Listen.
Let me have a helmet.
I've got a whole bunch of Dragon Ball stuff. And Dragon Ball Z, it's just Dragon Ball. It's not the best thing ever, but man, it looks cool as shit.
Yeah, basically. That's like pretty much all of Gundam is like, there's a lot of Gundam that's mid, but it looks cool.
It looks cool. That's why I got tattoos, man. It looks cool.
Yeah. The one thing I will say from Shikimori that I'm like, I might come back to this show is there's a character, I think it's Hachimitsu. It's like one of the side girl characters. In the first episode, like one of Shikimori is freaking out about something. I think being excited. She's in the same class with the dude she's dating. The main male protagonist whose name I can't remember. It's not important. But anyway, Hatsumitsu, which is her friend, is like, nah, it's all right, embrace your cringe. And I was like, okay, I might come back to this show. That character may have sold me on the very minor point of this show.
Or do you like cat girls? Cringe, bro.
Cringe, bro. I mean, come on. You know? Like, come on. I mean, cat. Who doesn't like Naruto?
Is Naruto a cat girl?
It's like a fox girl. It's close enough, right?
Fox girl.
Or fox being, you know, what we don't know what Naruto's up to, you know.
technically there is a cat girl in Naruto because one of the Jinchuriki, I think it's the Two Tails, it's like a blue fire fox or no, a blue fire cat.
I think I've seen pictures of that. That
Yeah.
sounds familiar.
I think it's the two-tailed Jinchuriki.
So
and it's a
yeah.
girl, so it technically is a cat girl.
Cat girls exist in Naruto. So yeah, Shikimori not as good as My Dress Up Darling. At me, I don't care. I will fight you to the death. It's not even as good as Love After World Domination or Kaguya-sama. Like, I think both of those are better romance stories.
Yeah.
And Kaguya-sama's whole point is to not be a romance story. So it's like, bro, I mean, Kaguya-sama's got such a high prestige at this point. I don't think that's fair, but still, I don't care.
I've never wanted a relationship to happen more than Decibel.
Yeah, I hope this. I mean, from the OP, it looks like
it works out. God damn it!
Yeah, from the OP, it looks like this is gonna be like the end of the season. That's gonna work out, but you know, you never know. You want to, fingers crossed.
Don't do that to me.
Yeah, don't kill one of those characters, please.
It's 3 episodes. They still haven't kissed. So
they did hold hands, though.
They did hold hands.
That's a big step in Japan. This
Technically,
stuff.
she sat on his face in this last episode.
Yeah, that was one of the things I keep getting spoiled on. Is I keep seeing gifs of it, and I'm like, okay, I know what's gonna happen, but I don't care. I still want to see
Skipping
it.
some steps there, man. You go from holding hands to sitting on faces.
That was also like a very athletic move of like, I don't think that's how that works, but you do you. Anime physics is fine.
And they put a timer at the bottom too, because it's like it happened in all like less than a second. They weren't actually like sitting on. I mean, it was literally sitting on his face, but they were about to get found out, so she had to hide him. So
Yeah, just like on the side of his head.
it didn't turn into a hentai.
Yeah, no, it's too wholesome for that. It's too good of a show.
It's wholesome. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah. So Shikimori's mid. Fight me. Take.op Destiny still really good. The second episode gives you a lot of backstory on the two main characters, Take and Cosette. They talk about kind of why music doesn't exist. Like, they still don't explain why the monsters are driven to music or attracted to it, but they're like, hey, these monsters are attracted to music, so no one play any music. But we have this traveling circus that plays music because everyone's super depressed, no music exists, which seems like a stupid idea, but whatever. It sets up how that stuff exists. Animation looks cool. Still very excited to see where that goes. It's only 2 episodes, so I mean, everyone's like who watched the sub already knows what happens because it came out last season, but the dub's still going, so I'm getting there. Legend of the Galactic Heroes episode 4 still good, more political stuff.
Yeah.
For the most part, that's all I'm going to say about that show until the end of the season, unless a battle happens, which is bad because episode 1 had a battle and I kind of glossed over it because it's like, it doesn't matter.
I was gonna start that one, and then I started Love After World Domination.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably
I was like, oh, Cody's been watching that. I'll probably start watching that, and then it was like a couple of titles over was Love After World Domination. I was like, oh, that's that one he was talking about. I'm gonna watch that one because it was only 1 episode.
Yeah. It like,
oh man.
out of it's difficult to say because like out of the stuff I'm watching this season, in terms of recommendations, like if you just want to have fun, Spy X Family, Love After World Domination, Kaguya-sama.
Yep.
If you want a very protracted, long political story that you've got like almost 30 episodes of content, Legends of the Galactic Heroes.
Italia.
Basically, yeah, it's Space Italia without nations, but very similar looking characters in some instances. Spy X Family, like I said, that was good. I'm watching that. One that you mentioned you were watching that I started watching was the Otome Isekai.
Oh, Trapped in a Dating Sim?
Yeah, the only reason I started it is because it has Mecha in it, and I didn't know that.
I was about to say.
That's literally it. Yeah, and I was like, oh, I need to watch this. And it's good. It feels like a slightly less budgety Konosuba.
Yeah, definitely like a comedy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's good. I'm excited about the mechs. I'm excited that our main character, whose name I've already forgotten, is going to stick it to the fucking royals and the main characters of
I like how you watched it to watch mechs, and the mech scene hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah, you get like the little preview and you're like, yes, this is why I'm here.
Like credits.
I've actually enjoyed it. I do like the idea of having another person get isekai'd and kind of being at odds with them without them really knowing.
Who do you think it is? I haven't watched. I've been tempted to watch the sub just to figure out everything. I think it's his sister.
I feel like it, but at the same time, I kind of don't think it is.
You think it might just be someone else?
Yeah, like I don't think it's gonna be someone he knows. Like the sister.
I think it would make me laugh more if it was his sister.
Yeah, I kind of get the vibe that they could do it, but I also feel like
it's someone that's also played the game though, so I guess.
Yeah, and his sister didn't, so I was like,
didn't play the game, so I don't know.
Yeah, and it's hard to tell how long it's been since he got isekai'd, so it maybe time flows the same in this and stuff. It is neat that like Log Horizon and SAO, the world exists. Like the game world, you get to see it before they like get isekai'd or whatever to it, or stuff happens. I like the idea of having this like very kind of mobile game, like shitty, very poorly done dating sim, being a full world, and it being like, oh, there's a bunch of shit we didn't know because it never got made into the game because it was too expensive.
Yeah.
Like the fucking Sentinel robot thing that he runs into.
I love his freaking little Sentinel buddy.
So good. Like, oh, I just love that.
It's good. It's a feel-good show.
Yeah, it like that one, even if it didn't have mechs in it at this point, I'd probably stay with because it's like I'm enjoying it.
And it's nice to have an isekai. As far as I know, he doesn't have a harem. He just has that one girl that likes him.
Yeah.
So,
maybe there'll be like a weird love triangle with the kind of Duke's daughter or whatever her name is. Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of like her.
Yeah, she's not terrible. Like she's definitely not my fave, but she's better than everyone. Like, ew, I don't like this guy.
I've got. Everyone knows. Well, not everyone knows because I don't really talk to anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
I like a tsundere, man. I'm a good tsundere.
I can appreciate a good tsundere.
I can appreciate it, man. What's that? Hard on the outside, soft on the inside. All right, I got you. Let me win you over. Let me get that challenge.
Let's go. Let's do it.
Like an ice cold bitch with a heart.
Basically, yeah. I mean,
not like fucking Lady S Death, where she's just crazy.
Yeah, no, like you even get this, and some people have. It's weird seeing people freak out about stuff, and like there's some things I can get, and like there have been a bunch of weird things come up about Spy X Family that people are like, oh, we gotta cancel this show, and it's like, shut the fuck up, Twitter. No one cares.
Yeah, I've seen that. They're like, this is perverted. I was like, he just adopted a kid. Like,
yeah, like he's weird. Like holding his daughter up because she passed an entrance exam. Yeah. I don't understand whatever. But like people were saying,
you're the one making this weird.
Yeah, mostly it's of course fucking Twitter. What's up, Twitter? I see you. I'm out there. I'm looking at shit that is not that. Like I said, I'm pretty much on Twitter for Ukraine OSINT and to ask for people to give me their trash takes, and they ignore me. So Twitter.
Well, I don't want the guy that was complaining about Spy X Family. I don't want his trash taste because I can assume.
I mean, we already know his trash taste.
What it is, and it's not legal.
Yeah. But yeah, so people were like freaking about that, and like it reminded me of Mashoka Tensei stuff that I had seen before I had watched it, and being like, I mean, I could see people having a slightly more of a case there with Eris and Rudius being like not actually like a 40-year-old man, but mentally a 40-year-old man.
He's like in his 30s or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, they do such a good job in that show of like personifying both of them.
I kind of forgot like all the pervy stuff in the beginning.
Yeah, there's like through. I mean, he
It's a
doesn't do
lot.
it as much, but like it consistently until like the end of like where it is now, where that kind of gets turned around on him, and it's like, oh shit, damn, Rudius, that suck. I'm sorry. But a lot of people freaked out about that. You know, whatever. I can kind of understand that slightly more, but it kind of reminds me of like when you have a really good isekai. You don't really need that much, right? Like, Eris, for most, like, even her during moments, she's still kind of a bit of a bitch sometimes.
Yeah.
But you're like, you know what? You're pretty alright. I can understand you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they at least kind of explain why she is the way she is. And then, like, through different trials and tribulations in their journey and whatever, you kind of see her grow a little bit. But there's a lot of shows that just don't ever take that route. And I'm hoping that that's not going to be the case with the Otome game. Like, I hope we get some characterization, but I get the vibe we're probably not going to get it because it's a fucking dating sim. And it's like,
I'm into it.
Yeah, it's just like, this is a dating sim. This is as deep as this character goes. But maybe, we'll see. I don't know.
It's different enough with, being taken into a game and it's a dating sim instead of an actual, like, it's still kind of a fantasy world, but
yeah,
it wasn't like, oh, I got isekai'd into World of Warcraft or something like that.
Yeah, and like with it being such a different type of game, it is like they've done a lot of stuff to build the world out. So I'm hoping the characters get that, and people, I would imagine, I'm sure there's probably someone on Twitter who eventually will see this show and be like, oh my god, this guy got isekai'd and he's trying to bang these high schoolers or whatever. And it's like, he lives on his own, so we kind of assume he's a little older, like between 18 and 25 maybe. But like at the same time, he is very flippant about any of these people. He's just like, I'm here to serve my purpose. I hate all of you.
World. Yeah, like
I'm
before
fighting
he got
people.
isekai'd, he's like, I hate these people. I hate everyone. I hate this world. Why am I think that is the title of the first episode or something like that. It's like, he's into a world he hates. But yeah, it's good.
Yeah, it kind of gives me a vibe of being a mix of several shows, and I'm really excited for the mechs. I don't like them in design as much as a lot of stuff, but I'm just excited to see mechs in something else. Speaking about mechs, though, I finally got around to finishing Kyokai Senki, the first part or first season, whatever you want to call it, that came out, I think, last year. It's Sunrise's in between Gundam show, basically. It's actually pretty decent. It's pretty good. I finished it. The final episode is actually of the first part. The second part's airing in sub right now, so I'm waiting for the dub. But I might just start the sub, honestly, because it ended in a way I'm like, I kind of need to know. It's really good. Like, if you're looking for a solid mech show and you finished 86, Kyokai Senki is good. The first season or the first 13 episodes are dubbed. The second season or second part, I think like 5 episodes in, and it's only sub right now. So, there's that. But it's good. It's Sunrise, so the animation's good. The mechanical design is solid. It was done in collaboration with... I'm just going to bother me. I don't remember this guy. He had done a collaboration with Gundam for the RX-78-2 G40 Gundam. He's like an actual mechanical designer for like cars and stuff. And he's like done work with Ferrari, I think. I'm going to be bothered. I can't remember this guy's name. But him and his firm did a bunch of... assisting on or collaboration for the mechanical design. So the stuff doesn't look Gundam like. It's very unique. It looks very industrial robot-y, and it looks cool. They have, of course, high grades and stuff out, so making that bank on model kits. I hope we see more, because even in the first part they don't have everything as a model kit, so I'm hoping, fingers crossed, we see all that. But overall, I'm quite enjoying it. It's really good. Mecha shows, if you like them, that's a good one to go with.
Nice. Oh, the other thing that I remember I was bitching to you about it. I watched the 1999 Hunter x Hunter.
Yeah, you were comparing it to the
Yeah.
new one or newer one. I suppose.
So I remember when I was listening back on last episode when I was talking about Hunter x Hunter, and I was like, I don't know what it's on. I don't know if you can watch it on anything. You can watch all of it on YouTube.
Like legit,
Surprisingly enough, legit. Like it's like 62 episodes. It's on YouTube.
like by a studio, or is it like in?
No, someone uploaded it.
Okay. So,
But it's been up there for like a couple of years. So
so yeah, that's probably
So,
some
like, it
weird
hasn't been
licensing
taken down
thing.
yet.
It hasn't been bought or something.
as far as of this recording, you can watch 1999 Hunter x Hunter on YouTube.
No one may want to buy the license to it, so it's just sitting there.
And let me tell you, man, you know how I was saying it wasn't good, and people are like, I didn't like it, and I know a lot of people that defend it and say that it's better. It's not better. You're dumb, and you're living in nostalgia, and you need to get the fuck over yourself. It is shit.
So
Now,
you're saying
the still frames. I took pictures of it and sent it to you. The still frames
Yeah,
and
you
everything.
did.
It's the 90s animation. It looks good. It's nostalgic. You're like, oh, this is cool. Fight scenes are shit. The dubbing. Oh my god, the dubbing is awful. I don't know what is wrong with their mixing, but the voices are so much louder than everything else. Gon sounds like a fucking 30-year-old man. He's supposed to be 13. Almost every voice in that Hisoka's voice actor, I don't like it. I didn't even bother looking up the voice actors because I didn't want to know. No one in their right mind can sit there and tell me from start to finish that the 99 version of Hunter x Hunter is better. It's not. There may be scenes that are better, but you look at that shit as a whole. I watched 40 episodes. No, I watched 35 because I got past the Hunter exam, and so no.
Mental note: don't watch the 1999 Hunter x Hunter that you found on YouTube because no one wants to buy the license.
I will die on that hill.
I mean,
like, oh, the 99. I see it on Twitter all the time. They're like, oh, look at Kurapika. Him and his eyes look badass in the 99 version. I'm like, yeah, like his eyes look more red, but fucking, I saw the fight scenes. It's like shadow movement because they didn't have enough money to actually animate the arm all the way through.
Yeah,
it's not fluid fight scenes. Like, oh,
not good.
Twitter's dumb. I hate anime people. I hate anime fans.
Twitter is dumb.
I hate anime fans. I hate my opinions. Everyone's opinion sucks.
No one has
Nothing's
good opinions.
Nothing's good.
Nothing.
Anyway, I watched that just to solidify my opinion of not liking it. Like, oh, maybe I need to try it again. I did. I tried 30-something episodes. Didn't like it. Turned it off. It was mostly in the background.
Yeah, I feel like if you get that far in, you have the right to be like, nah, fam.
I was skipping parts. First episode sucks. Compare it to the first episode of the 2011 one. It sucks. Anyway, that's my rant.
Well, as a good transition from Hyokai Senki, our favorite that we're talking about this week. Last week was Shonen. This week is Mecha. We picked a show, one of our favorites at least from the genre. Dean, what did you end up going with? You had told me, I think I know what you're going with, but what'd you pick?
I picked Gurren Lagann.
Okay.
It was kind of up in the air between Evangelion, but Gurren Lagann's there's more mechs into it. It feels more like a mecha show instead of there's more outside of the suit stuff in Evangelion. So I went with Gurren Lagann. Solid show. Pretty damn good. first half of the season's better than the second half.
Yeah, I mean that is up there for me as well. Like, had you not picked it, I might have picked it. I mean, this is a thing I've thought about as I've gone through to write video essays and things. It's this weird thing. You had this kind of resurgence or this like mini renaissance of mecha shows in the 2000s with like Gurren Lagann, Eureka 7, Code Geass, Full Metal Panic. I mean, there's tons of stuff I'm missing in there, I'm sure. But after like Ava came out in the 90s, late 90s, or I guess mid to late, depending on when you count the end of Evangelion, like TV show, mid, like actual end of Evangelion, like late 90s, early 2000s, where it kind of like deconstructs both real and super robot in a weird way, and like it just freed people up to be like, well, we can't really make generic mecha anymore, so we have to like have something. And Gurren Lagann's just like, we're just take bravado and make a show. Let's go. Let's do this. And they do. And that team would go on, or a lot of that team would go on to form Studio Trigger, and you have a bunch of spiritual successors and stuff.
It's like Studio Trigger while there was still, was it Gainax?
Yeah, there was still a Gainax.
So it was still Gainax, and it was like right after the success of Gurren Lagann, they like left and then made Studio Trigger, and it was a lot of people that worked on that show. So when you see a lot of similarities on animation and art style on Studio Trigger in Gurren Lagann, because it's the people that worked on it made their own studio. And then Studio Trigger, they went on and did I'm blanking.
Yeah, they did
I forget what they did.
A bunch of stuff. They did Kill la Kill, which is probably visually and tonally the most similar. They did some, I think, Ninja
Premiere.
Yeah, they did Premiere.
Okay,
I think that would be their most recent work. I think Little Witch Academia is still somehow in some form going, I think. They did Ninja Slayer, which is terrible, but like everyone that gave shit to Studio Trigger in Kill la Kill for like still frames just moving, like someone's just like clicking and dragging a JPEG. That entire show is that. And I want to just think it's someone heard that and was like, all right, fuck you. Let's just make a whole show like this. And it, like I said, it's not great. It's not easy to watch, but it exists. They've made a lot of other like better stuff, like Kill la Kill, one of my favorites. Premiere's really good. Little Witch Academia is very different from their normal stuff, but also very popular. I've not watched all of it, but what I've watched it's anime Harry Potter with like anime-ness pushed into it, so it's less Britishisms and more like Japanese cultural things, but it's quite good. Like if you want the closest equivalent, that's probably the closest you're gonna get. I mean Gurren Lagann, banger of a show. If you've not watched Gurren Lagann, watch it. I don't know where you can find it, but watch it.
Top 10 personal, probably.
Yeah, it's for sure. Even outside of Mecha, like it's just a really good show.
It's good. I'm pretty sure I watched I remember watching. I've watched it in sub and I watched it in dub. I think I watched it in sub first. I can't remember. Because I remember when I started watching it in dub, I was like, what the fuck is with Simone's voice? I didn't really. I mean, you could just chalk that one up as watching it in subbed and be okay with it.
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I had a very similar thing with Kill la Kill, where I had watched it all in sub. And
we watched it all in Japanese.
Yeah, and then like when the Blu-rays and DVDs and stuff started coming out, I was like, oh shit, I love Kill la Kill. I've bought a bunch of shit for it, so I'll buy the DVDs.
You know how last week I was talking about, I was like, did we do this with Attack on Titan? We did this with Kill la Kill. It wasn't Attack on Titan.
I mean, so we did it with both, I remember, because we're like,
watched all of
you can't scream like Aaron.
Yeah,
in English.
Because I think you told me, like, have you seen Kill la Kill? I said no. So you're like, okay, we're watching it. So I came over to your house and we watched Kill la Kill. And then when the rewatched it, I think you paused.
Yeah, I think the connection did something weird there. So you came over to my house to watch Kill la Kill. What happened next?
Yeah. Okay, so we watched Kill la Kill, and we watched it, and then I remember you got the DVDs, and then we watched it again in English, and it was like, man, just there's a lot of screaming in that show, and Japanese voice actors do the screaming way better.
Yeah, like particularly Satsuki and Ryuko, like they just are not compared. Like just generally speaking, like their regular voices are fine. It's just when they scream, which is a good percentage of the show, especially when they're talking to each other, that it's just not as good. Like Attack on Titan, when people are screaming, and it's just not. It doesn't hit the same. Both are still good, but yeah, Gurren Lagann's very similar in that there's a lot of like communist stuff, even though his voice is pretty good. It just doesn't hit the same levels that it does in Japanese.
I think Chris Sabat is also in Kill la Kill because he's Gamagori, isn't he?
I think so. Yeah, he's a big buff burly dude. I think I'm like 90% sure that's who he voices.
Yeah. He's in everything, man.
Yeah, like Kill la Kill's good. Like.
Yeah,
Kill la Kill's not a mech show, but fuck it. Like
I went and rewatched Kill la Kill. I think it was last year because I think I watched it with Audie.
Yeah, was that an interesting a watch? It's a very risque show at some points.
A lot of upskirts. Well, there's just not a lot of skirts.
Yeah, it's less of the camera angle. Just there's not a lot of material there. This is something I remember having to talk about when it was airing, like not when it was airing, but like when it was new, of like everyone who defended it, myself included, would be like, nah, they just desensitize you to it like halfway through. And I'm like,
you just gotta get used to it. You're just like, oh, okay. And then someone walks in on like the 8th episode, you're like, why is everyone like naked?
It's like, just don't ask, just stop.
Do this, the beat show.
Yeah, just it's an organization. Clothes are evil. Shut up and deal with it, you pig in human clothes.
Aliens in the clothes, so they don't wear clothes. It's okay.
It's so good, but it's so dumb. Like, yeah, I mean, it's not.
This is dumb. It's good.
Yeah, like it's for anyone who hasn't seen it. Just as a side note, it's not an ecchi show. It borders that line sometimes, but like
it's fan servicey, but not like
it's not like fan servicey for fan servicey's sake. It's not like High School DxD where it's like, here's some titties. It's like Ryuko's sailor uniform transforms into this very skimpy outfit, but she's still super badass, and like you're really not paying attention to the outfit, but it's still there. And Satsuki's the same way, and it's until someone walks in that you kind of forget about it, and then someone's like, why are they wearing so little clothes? And you're like, shut up, enjoy it.
Shut up. There's a fight going on.
Yeah, like I think we had tried, I don't remember when, but I think at some point I tried to get Sevi to watch it. Yeah. And he would like, I think he made it an episode or two in, and we just ended up doing something else. But that, like, it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
It's totally good though.
Seen it all.
Yeah,
I feel like he watched it whenever I was living there with him.
Yeah, so yeah, like you could like, it's definitely not a show I feel like you can like force on someone or even like recommend to an extent, unless they just watch Gurren Lagann and like, God, I want more of this. And then you're like, this is weird, but hear me out. Clothes.
I remember he watched Akame ga Kill when I was living with him. He was watching it for the first time, and that's whenever I was like, oh man, I like this show. When I rewatch it, I was watching it with him. I was like, what the fuck's up with the pacing?
You're like, I don't remember this not being this good.
I thought it was better than this,
and then it wasn't.
Fucking mid.
Yeah, you want to talk about a mid-ass show?
Golly, good kill.
Yeah, but as our transition from Kill la Kill back to Mech, I'm gonna pull. I told you I had a couple ideas, and
yeah,
I feel remiss not to at least mention Code Geass, but I'm not gonna pick it. Like it's one of my top 5 favorite shows, easy. But I feel like if
someone came up to me and was like, "What's Cody's favorite show?" I would usually just say Code Geass.
Yeah, that's the safest bet probably. Like any given day, I would probably be like, "Yeah, it's Code Geass." But I'm gonna go on a different path here. Not necessarily because I feel like it's better than Code Geass, but I feel like it's different. And if we're talking particularly about Mecha, I think the Mecha play a more central role in the show. And that is Eureka 7, which in a very similar vein to Gurren Lagann in a way. It is done by Studio Bones, who is a lot more prevalent now. This was like one of their first big shows they'd made, but it was a bunch of ex-Sunrise employees, so a bunch of people that probably had worked on Gundam. I'm not going to look it up to see who it was, but like if you're not familiar with Studio Bones, they had done, if I'm correct, Soul Eater, I'm like 90% sure. I want to say they may have also done Fire Force, but I don't think they did. I think that I'm just thinking it's like Soul Eater. They've done a bunch of stuff. Like, there's a lot of animation that it's like, oh yeah, the Studio Bones. And you're like, oh yeah, Studio Bones is great.
They did Full Metal.
Yeah, there you go. They've got a prestige to them. They've got some stuff in their backlog.
The best thing they ever made, Orin Host Club.
Yeah, they did Orin as well, which is strange because this show is nothing like either of those. So Eureka 7 is the kind of first big show Studio Bones gets to do. A bunch of ex-Sunrise employees, so a mech show in this era makes sense. It's like 2005, 2006. Kind of in the same realm of Gurren Lagann and this resurgence of mecha with weird gimmicks. Whereas Gurren Lagann, it is bravado. For Eureka 7, it is soundtrack, basically, and a vibe. So, like, you have the space western for Cowboy Bebop, and naturally transitioning that from, like, kind of pseudo-classical era sounds to jazz. You have Samurai Champloo with its hip-hop beats and kind of its matching choreography. Eureka 7 has a kind of electro dance kind of soundtrack to it. Really good, but it plays into it a lot. There's this, they're on an alien planet, and it's so far into the future that colonization is like been and done, right? I don't even know if this is like, oh yeah, we colonized from Earth like thousands of years ago or something. It's just never brought up. But the planet they're on, which maybe it is Earth, I don't think it is, but is, I think they call it Trapper. Basically, there's this substance in the air that, with certain mechanisms, you can kind of skateboard on the air, basically. There's this whole, what they call reffing or riffing culture around it, which is like our skateboard culture, basically. And also, this is around the same time, culturally, that like Tony Hawk Pro Skater and skate culture was being kind of propped up in this big thing, so it kind of fits. So it's about this kid that's like, oh yeah, I like this, I want to get better at this, and there's this magazine that shows these people called Gecko State, which is like Tony Hawk and his crew if they were freedom fighting terrorists, basically. And all of their, I mean, so it's slightly more well funded, we'll say that. But anyway, all of the mechs in the show use that same system, so they pretty much just surf or skateboard through the air on these boards. The movement, the choreography, the weapons, the mechanical design, all very unique to this world. And all that aside, well, the mechs are very important in terms of, like, there's this almost kind of prophesized thing for one of the mechs that happens. The story from, like, Renton, the main character's point of view, is super well told. And this is something that I think they kind of pull, I don't want to say pull, but like is inspired by Shinji. Like, as much as Shinji never gets in the fucking robot.
Get in the fucking robot, Shinji.
He's a very realistic character. He's super depressed all the time. All of us are like, yeah, we get it. We get it, Shinji. We don't want to get in the robot either.
But we can't have a mecha show without a depressed character.
Yeah, some do it better than others. But Renton learns a lot and progresses a lot in that show. And I'm just talking about the original show. None of the other stuff, because none of the other stuff is very good in my opinion. It is very unique in its time. It's very good in just terms of a story. The mechs are cool. The soundtrack's cool. It's just a very interesting looking show in general, and it sounds good. It has its identity. It has a good story. Everyone who has seen all the other stuff, all the successive terrible not to say terrible, but just not as good things, just don't watch those. Just watch the original series. It's oopsies. I mean, like, so they did a movie after the fact, and they kind of try to multiverse it where they're like, oh yeah, this is just a different version of events, and it's a different world. Written's totally different. Without actually ever at any point being like, oh yeah, there's a whole multiverse thing going on. So everyone's confused when the movie came out, and it was like, well, these characters are nothing like they were before. And these characters are enemies now, which makes zero sense. And the whole point of this series doesn't make any sense anymore. Yonoreka 7 AO came out. It was all right in its own right. And had it not been linked to Eureka 7, I think it would have just been a better mech show. And now they're in the high evolution movies that have been going for a few years, I think. And they're okay, I guess. But yeah, original Eureka 7, original recipe, solid mech show. If you're looking for a mech show and you haven't watched it, find it somewhere and watch it. It's really good.
I don't remember if you said it when you were talking about Bones, but they do My Hero.
Oh shit, I didn't know they were doing My Hero.
They do all My Hero.
Damn, well, I kind of feel bad for not watching My Hero now, but...
Yeah, one of the biggest shows of the past decade.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, if, like
they
I
also
said...
did Space Dandy, and you know it's Space Dandy.
Yeah, they
Did you
also...
ever watch Space Dandy?
No, I didn't. I remember it coming out, and people were like, oh my god, it's the spiritual successor to Cowboy Bebop. And that was like, okay, whatever.
I feel like Space Dandy's more like Lupin the Third in space.
Yeah, like when I was seeing it, I was like, I don't know how this is like maybe Outlaw Star, but slightly better animated, but whatever. It's amusing because like I could see, you know, because Cowboy Bebop was done by Sunrise, so probably some of the people that founded Bones maybe worked on it. But yeah, it's just Studio Bones has done some stuff. Like they've been around. They're very high up there.
They've done a lot.
Yeah.
Just when I pulled up the list, I'd keep scrolling.
Yeah, like in the like less than 20 years they've been operating, they've been very prolific.
Especially with My Hero, damn, they took that shit and they popped off.
Yeah, like good on you, Studio Bones. Like I'm not watching My Hero anymore, but good for you guys.
Just start watching My Hero.
Yeah. I mean,
you left off in the third season, didn't you? Or the fourth?
The big fight that everyone talked about was where I had watched
United
that.
States of Smash.
Yeah.
Where All Might fought One for All.
Did that happen before or after he fought Deku fought the criminal with Eri on his back?
That was the last thing that happened.
Oh, well, fuck. Then maybe I'm caught up.
Overlord. I think you're caught up.
Okay, well, damn. Okay, maybe I was watching My Hero.
Yeah, I think so. Pretty sure.
I thought there was a season after that, because that was several years ago.
Yeah, there's a season after that. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, because they're doing exams and stuff. Was that The Gentleman?
Yeah. I've seen some of that, so I've seen
yeah.
some of it. I don't think I've watched all of it.
Season 5.
Yeah, because they're doing the festival thing, and he's trying to like ruin it to get clout, and then Deku's like,
yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna cause a bunch of property damage to stop you.
I'm trying to get clout. Yeah, because they save Eri, and then they have that, and then they have their other exams.
Yeah. And then they go.
They're fighting the other class. They're fighting Class 1B.
Yeah, and then. Do they do that before or after Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki go hang out with Endeavor? That's happened, because I've seen a bunch of pictures of that, and I'm like, maybe. And I just don't go back to watch it.
I can't remember. I think that might be after.
Okay. I don't remember when I get spoiled on these things, because it just blends together.
They're in Endeavor's agency.
Yeah. They're like understudying him or something. Yeah.
And then the movie came out, and the movie was good. I went to the theaters and saw it.
Yeah, maybe I'll get back on My Hero at some point in my life. It's whenever someone
looks
gives
like
me
you
big
only
enough
need-
spoilers, I'll be like, okay, maybe.
It looks like you're only one season down.
I mean, maybe if I drop a
It's supposed to start up
show,
again, I think, this year.
I'll be like, maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
I mean, you're already preemptively dropping One Piece every year.
I mean, One Piece has never been on the list, so.
Hey, I heard you can read all of it in like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
You just can't watch anything else because you're reading it all.
Yeah, I mean, if that's your life, like you get 2 hours of sleep a day and you just read. I can't do that
You
shit.
can read fight scenes. You can read fight scenes pretty quick.
I am not starting One Piece anytime soon.
I mean, I'm not even caught up.
Yeah. No,
So I'm not really saying anything. You haven't even started it. At least I've started it.
no.
I'm like 600 episodes.
I feel like if there was 600 episodes of My Hero and I stopped, I'd be like, maybe I'll start back up. But there's no, I'm fine. I don't need it right now. I'm already watching Naruto. I don't need another spunky
That's true.
kid crying at me. I guess
Oh,
Naruto doesn't really cry at anyone, but still.
That's the other thing. I watched like 15, 16 episodes of Naruto.
Oh, how's that? I've seen the memes of like the bad crying animation. Have you gotten there?
No, that isn't sub. That's
Okay, so
way
yeah,
bad. That's like 100 episodes past where I am. I think that's current.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I still haven't even finished the dub, so I was like, well, I'll have it going, and while I'm doing something else, and pay attention to it. I was like in episode like 130 or 120 or something like that.
Still not
I was in
feeling
the
Boruto?
hundreds. Huh?
Still not feeling it, or is it getting better?
No.
No.
What I saw was pretty cool because they did some time travel.
I've seen pictures of him standing next to Naruto. I think you sent me that picture actually.
I did. I sent you a picture. I said because you were like, "I'm you, but worse."
Yeah. That's the show.
Yeah.
I'm you
So,
bored.
spoiler alert for the 120 something episode of Boruto, but they find a time traveling turtle, and the bad guys are trying to go back in time and steal the fox out of Naruto, like when he was weaker.
Yeah.
But like, and so like Boruto and goes back there with him because they're trying to stop him, and so they're like hanging out. It's like right at the end of Naruto before Shippuden, because it's right when Sasuke fucks off.
Okay.
It's like while he's training with Jiraiya. It's the day that, or it's before Tsunade gets her face on the stone faces. So it's like within a week of her being there.
Okay. I'm not there yet, but I know that like that happens. So.
Yeah, you know that she's Hokage.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so mental note on Boruto. Maybe I'll eventually get to that, or maybe I'll just be like, I'm good.
I think I was more interested in that because I'm like, oh man, look, it's the original cast. You know, they're all kids again.
Yeah.
So it's like you got the group of guys, and you got Kiba and Rock Lee and Neji and Naruto. Sakura's in there a little bit, but it was the interactions is what I was living for.
Yeah.
And Jiraiya's there. And it's like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Bring him back. Well, I
and,
guess they're
they,
time traveling, so they go back.
Time traveling. They went to him.
Yeah.
I think it was funny because they were trying to be secret, not to let anybody knows what it does. And then Boruto just does the fucking Rasengan. And Jiraiya's like, what the fuck?
How did you learn that? Weird, strange, blonde-haired kid.
Dumbass.
Good job, Boruto.
And yeah, so I watched that. That arc was done, and the next episode hit, and I turned it off.
Great.
I was like, all right, I'm fucking bored again.
Oh yeah, I forgot to. I think I mentioned it. I watched 2 episodes of Naruto. I think.
Which ones was it?
62 to 64. So it covered them skipping Sasuke's fight. The other sand guy forfeiting, and then Tamari fighting Shikimori and almost losing. But then he's like, I'm bored. I'm done. I'm tired.
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, go Shikimori.
Lazy boy.
Killing it. I can't believe there's only one fight in that 2 episodes, but yeah, I think that's all that happened.
Yeah, Kankuro, he doesn't. They have a plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kankuro's like, fuck it.
Yeah, he keeps saying, he's like, I can't reveal this, and then the Kazekage is like, we gotta wait for Sasuke. It's the only reason we're here. And it's like, oh, all right, we'll wait. And then a bunch of talking happens that I don't remember. Nah, I forgot it. It definitely a big drop from 24 to 2, but whatever. It's fine.
What's the next episode? Do you watch what's supposed to happen the next episode?
I skipped that shit.
Previews?
Like,
I skip that shit all the time.
Let's get right to that episode. Don't spoil me. I want to know. I mean, maybe the title card spoils me, but I don't care. Whatever. Like, just let me get into it. We'll see. It's good. Maybe. I don't know.
Man, you're about to hear some bangers on anime intros for Naruto and Shippuden.
Yeah, I mean, there's the first one.
I can't remember which one the Chunin exam has. I don't remember if it's the rap one or not.
No, I don't think so. It's kind of like an upbeat kind of like soft rock type thing. It's not bad. It feels like a pretty like regular ass anime intro, but
Shippuden's got some beats.
So I have seen several. So IMDB's top 100 anime. We talked about 1 through 10 last time. We're going descending order this time just because I feel like it makes more sense instead of going ascending. Yeah, so we're gonna start at 11 here. So like I said, we did 1 through 10 before last week. Number 11 is Usagi Drop. This is something I remember. I had been back into anime for a hot minute, but I was like in anime way deeper than I probably should have been at the time. And everyone, I even think at one point, I think Giga had talked about it in a video. I think like way back on Podtaku or maybe something on his channel. I was like, oh, okay, well, I'll try to find it. And I don't think anyone had it streaming because this was pretty early into the streaming services. But really good slice of life. Dude's grandpa, I think, dies, but he'd had a kid like 6 years ago. So his nephew, yeah. So he has to adopt his 6-year-old aunt, but she's 6, and he's like a grown dude, so he has to raise her. And it's just a really like heartwarming story of this dude trying to figure out how to raise a daughter while trying to kind of be a salary man. 3,000 people voted for that, and I'm not terribly surprised by that. It's not a super big show, but like the people who've watched it are like, yeah, no, that's pretty good. I feel like there's a lot of other slice of life out there that's probably equally as good, but Usagi Drop, most of it is it's a really good show, really nice, happy show. Other than like the grandpa dying, that's kind of sad.
I have never seen it.
You were right there along with everyone other than those 3,000 people.
I was looking it up, and I was like, okay, so that was like 2011. What the fuck was I doing in 2011 besides graduating high school? Okay, what was I doing my senior year of high school? Yeah. I was like, it was not watching Usagi Drop.
Yeah, like I don't think I watched it until probably like probably 2013, 2014 maybe.
I was thinking the things that also came out that year and the next year in 2012 was like Blue Exorcist and Dead Man Wonderland, and Steins Gate came out.
That was kind of a stacked year.
Obviously, Hunter x Hunter. I watched Hunter x Hunter in like 2012. I didn't watch it in 2011.
Yeah, Guilty Crown came out in 2011. Not that that's really worth noting.
Rosario Vampire.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I think this was a show. This was at the point where I didn't know I needed to have like a feel-good anime. I was just watching a bunch of stuff. So I was pretty sure I was watching Rosario Vampire at the time too.
Probably. I was watching it on Netflix, man.
And I was like, maybe I should find something that makes me feel good about myself.
Instead of panty shots and
Yeah. And that was
having a harem of monster girls. Not monster girls, supernatural girls.
Yeah, because we got to like real monster girls with Monster Musume, so
Oh god.
like this is Rosario plus Vampire walked so that everyone else could run.
I will say one thing. I watched a show several years ago. It was called Interview with Monster Girls. Now that one, it's not like an ecchi. It's not a fan service. It's he's a high school teacher. He's a human, and he's teaching a class of demi-humans. And it's like monster girls. So it's like you have a vampire, you have a I forget the Doulahan, the ones that they can take off their head.
Okay.
They have like a Doulahan in there. And it's a very it's slice of life. So it's a very like feel good show.
Yeah.
But it's different because it's monster girls, monster school or whatever. The I think she's a PE teacher. She's a succubus. And so she likes the teacher, but like she's trying to not be a succubus. I don't know. It's funny. It's an alright show. I liked it. But anyway.
It's all right.
It's just like now if you put the word monster girl and everything, Monster Musume kind of just ruined that for everything.
Yeah, Monster Musume ran so nobody else could exist.
It's like, oh, you want to fuck a snake or a spider?
Watch this show.
You can do it in this show. I don't know why, but I mean, I guess the only thing that continued to run was interspecies reviewers, which is kind of the same thing.
I haven't started that one yet.
I don't think I'll ever start it, but the things I've heard were like lead up to redo of Healer being like, this is borderline, or really not borderline. I think it's just a softcore porn, basically. Maybe not softcore. I don't know. Everyone was talking about it, and I was like, well, okay, that exists. Whatever. I'm not gonna watch it. I have no interest. Something I do have interest in, and Holly will have interest in, is number 12, Rurouni Kenshin, the OG, the original, not the OVA. That's at like number 3 for some reason.
Not the prequel OVA, but
The original Rurouni Kenshin.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of Rurouni Kenshin because it was on Toonami.
Yeah, I remember catching it back in the day, and then I think when I was in the era of watching too much anime, this was one I was like, oh, I remember the Samurai guy. That was cool. And then I was like, oh,
Samurai
shit.
guy.
This is really good. And like there's not like a ton of samurai anime out there that I can think of off the top of my head, but might just be because it's like you're not really gonna top this in most instances. Like I can't think of even like a samurai equivalent anime that's like this is equally as good in terms of like telling a story and characterizing all of these things. And like I said last week, the Meiji era is like really interesting. Like the Meiji Restoration, just as historical event, is really, really cool. And yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of eras like that that just don't get a lot of attention. Like one that's kind of more contemporary or more recent was Mars Red, which was an anime adaptation of a stage play, but it takes place in like early 1900s Japan, like before the first, or maybe during the first Russo-Japanese War. I think Golden Kamui takes place around that as well. It is a really interesting era in Japanese history, but the Meiji Restoration is also a really, really good one. 19,000 people who were like, yeah, Rurouni Kenshin deserves to be up here. And I'm like, yeah, it does. It's really good.
It's really good. I mean, you got your classic 90s, fight scenes in your anime. Sword fight fantasy boys. I mean, you get one of his feud with Makoto is really good, and I never remembered his name, and I was like, oh, the mummy guy.
Yeah,
he's got bandages all over him.
Makoto Kusanagi. It's not who it is, but anytime anyone
It's
says
like
Makoto, that's what I go
Ichigo.
to.
Yeah, Makoto. I was like, oh, the mummy guy. And I was like, oh yeah, I was always remembering Kitchen and the mummy guy when I was growing up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, excellent fight scene. And it's got good story building because the whole reason with Makoto, like, it's he. You see it in the OVA prequel. You see Kenshin, you know, as Batosai the Manslayer. You know, he's ruthless, just murdering all these people. He's a badass. And Makoto is the guy that took that spot after him. So he's got a successor.